Hello everybody, and welcome to What is Your Digital Footprint All About? I'm Kay Ridge. As you're fully aware, this is being recorded so that you will get a copy of it. Let me share my screen and we can get started. We've got an hour and we do have a fair amount to go through. I'm just going to minimize my screen so you won't be able to see me for now. So I'll answer all your questions at the end. Okay, so let's get started. So what is your digital footprint all about? It's presented by myself, Kay Ridge from Dash Social, and of course, Business Stations and the Australian Small Business Advisory Service Digital Solutions. So one of the things that I would like to first do is welcome you to country. We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and New Zealand. We recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Kay Ridge. As you can see, I'm the founder of Dash Social. I'm a speaker in regards to social media. Have my hand in a lot of different places, and one of the proudest things that I do is I'm an ASBAS advisor. Okay, things that we're going to discuss today. What is social media? Why should I be on social media? When should I post? How should I post? Who should I post to? Social media, where to post, blogging, search engine optimization, Google My Business, branding, and content examples. One of the things I found doing this job is there's so many different bits of it, and it's to figure out where it all fits in. So what I'm going to try and explain to you today is how it all fits in, okay? So let's by looking at what is social media. Now, I've put in a quote here from Gary Vaynerchuk, and it's something that we should all consider. It took 38 years before 50 million people gained access to radio. It took television 13 years to earn an audience that size, and it took Instagram a year and a half. That goes to tell you how powerful social media can be. So let's look at what is social media. It's online communication, it's online networking, it's posting, it's commenting and sharing, and it's blogging. So let's just quickly have a look at a couple of the different social media platforms and just give you a little bit of a background. Facebook is still the most popular with 1.4 billion users. Facebook also owns WhatsApp and Instagram. And Instagram, as you can see, is an image-based platform. It has 1.2 billion unique visitors and what they call 90 million taps on product tags per week. And predominantly their audience or target audience is 25 to 34 years. So if you're selling to people that are within that age bracket, Instagram is definitely something you should consider. Pinterest, if we now look at Pinterest, it's image-based, it's 25 to 54-year-old women, but it's high-income women, okay, with 20 million users. LinkedIn, which I also talk about on the ASBAS program, it's business and it's predominantly used for business to business. 300 million users, of that 8 million are from Australia. And then we have LinkedIn, which I've spoken about, and YouTube, which has 1 billion users, and it's owned by Google. Now, obviously, you have to have a product that can be seen to use YouTube. If you have a service product, then not so much, all right, but never say never. Then we have a look at the new one in the market, which is TikTok, 10 to 29 years old. It's a Chinese product that is becoming exceptionally popular. And then we look at niche markets, and we have WhatsApp, Snapchat. Snapchat is definitely used by a younger audience. You have Tumblr and Reddit, which are both image-based, Messenger, which we've all seen Messenger and how that works. Medium is predominantly for blog writing. So now that when we get onto that subject, let's look at blogs and why you should have a blog. It allows you to keep your content on your website fresh. Blogs are written to Google search and the reader. So what happens is that when you're writing blogs, you actually put in keywords. So one of the areas that you can look to see what keywords you should use is keyword search, or Answer the Public, or even SEMrush will help you. So yes, they're written for the reader, but they're also written for Google to know that you're active on your blog site. All right. So let's look at Google My Business. Now, what happens with Google My Business is that it is used through Google to help you be found. Now, there are a lot of people now that are searching for a business by going onto Google and searching for a type of business. So if you aren't registered on Google My Business, you are going to be missing out. So make it count on Google My Business. List business locations on Google Maps. New searches are geographically specific, and Google reviews also get noticed. So now let's have a look at what SEO is. Do you know what it stands for? It is Search Engine Optimization, and it's how you get found when somebody searches for you. So SEO, as I said, is search engine optimization. It's basically the recipe that Google uses to rank you and give your landing page relevance. Okay, so let's go through and see, why should I be on social media? Well, simply, you deliver better customer service. It drives your brand awareness, manages your reputation, gets your message in front of the right customers. Now, you know, that's what we want. That's the whole point about being on social media. It increases trust in your brand, and finally drives web traffic, which is what we want. See, the whole thing about social media, it's about social media sells the sizzle. It's getting them to your website so that you can sell the sausage. So when we start to look at social media, let's have a look at branding. And is branding important when you're using social media? 100%. It tells you what your company does. You can talk about why your team is amazing and why people should support you. And also you can detail what makes you unique. Now, it's very important that you also keep your brand on trend. What does that mean? I'm going to show you something in regards to McDonald's very shortly. But you need to update your brand constantly. Is it looking old? It sends a message that perhaps you're tired and won't do the best possible work for your client. So when we look at a brand identity, we're looking at the logo, the color palette, the font and typography, the tone, your voice and personality. So how do you speak? And your imagery. Now, obviously your voice and personality, again, is going to relate to what type of product you have. If your clients are predominantly in the professional field, then you're not going to be talking as the same as if you were selling surfboards. Now let's have a look at 1955 and have a look at how McDonald's looked back then. Now their colour was red and yellow was their main design colours. But look what happens now when they changed it. They've still got the yellow and the red, but they've obviously updated it. Now, what I would like to do is just tell you a couple of facts. Did you know that 39% follow businesses that are on brands on social media? And of those, 20%, 3% of Australians use social media to find out more about brands, businesses, offers, and promotions. People want to know what you have and what you can get it for free. The acronym we use is WIFM. What's in it for me? So when we look at the brands on social media, we should know that 82% of those brands are looking at it because they're interested in getting something in return. 62% said discounts, 47% giveaways, and 41% wanted product information. They also wanted 82% of the web traffic driven was by video content. Now, this was given by the Yellow Social Media Report 2020. We also know that 56% of Australians use the internet more than 10 times a day, predominantly in the morning and in the evening. So if you're going to post before 9 and after 6 at night. And the average annual small and medium-sized spend on advertising is $7,500. Now, I will be answering your questions at the end. Obviously, at the moment, I can't see you because of the way that I have the presentation, but we will talk and I'll come to light at the end. So when should I post on social media? Well, I've just basically told you. So you post before 9, 6 till 9 in the morning, and after 6 at night. And I want you to think now of what social media platforms you should be posting on. Well, the biggest question to that is, what are your clients on? That's where you should be posting. All right. Now, I want you to have a think at what we call your buyer persona or person or avatar. So who is your customer? What are their influences? Like, who do they listen to? If it's female, do they listen to their girlfriends, for example? Do they listen, if it's male, perhaps it might be their boss as their influencer? What do they listen to? Who and why do they listen to their partner, for example? Who is the buyer in a relationship? What sort of income do they have? These all influence on where you should be. And I want you to remember this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That is truer than true. So, how or what should I post on social media? Well, social media, this is from Copyblogger. A content marketing strategy is a plan for building an audience by publishing, maintaining, and spreading frequent and consistent content that educates, entertains, or inspires to turn strangers into fans and fans into customers. So you write about things that they will be interested in. You give them information about your company because we're wanting to build brand awareness and brand trust. And people want to know about you. They're interested, people are interested in people. So think about who will read your content. What problem will it solve? What makes it unique? What are you posting? And for example, when you look at posting, when you go back and we look at the SEO, you should be posting videos rank higher than articles. All right, blog posts rate higher as well because they've got keywords in them. What channels will you publish on? And will you use a scheduling platform to post on? So what content should you post? Well, obviously you need to post something that's going to be eye-catching. All right, so start with an outline of topics. Write down Monday to Friday, what you're going to talk about. Okay, talk about something that's going to remember, that they're going to remember, that's going to interest them. And in social media, we actually have a formula which I'm going to share with you. So it's called the 30-30-30-10. There's 30% is tell the story about your business. So how you got started. Have you always wanted to do what you're doing? For example, I have a client who's a singer. Now, I have an image of her and her father, and she's singing at the piano when she's about 4. It tells the story of her life because in her particular case, she is the product. So she's the face out, she's the brand, so we want to talk about her. If you have a service example, what made you get into that? Where are you situated? What is your office like? What is the view outside your office? All right, these sorts of things people want to start to establish to build a relationship. Then we have a log. Tell a story about your staff or your suppliers. You know, one of the best things that you can do to help each other is give a plug to your suppliers. Okay, so your suppliers might also go to your competitors. It doesn't matter. I bet they don't promote your suppliers. 30% is then going to be about making it personal. Talk about how you can solve your clients' problems. So with a cup of coffee or a glass of wine at night, preferably not before midday, I want you to have a think about what problems your clients have and how your business can solve that problem. All right, write posts that make your client or your prospective client to reach out to you. And the last 10% that we're going to look at is these types of things. So you can put in a new customer offer. Perhaps you're a hairdresser or a butcher, you know, sausages 50% off on a Friday. First haircut with our apprentice, 50% off, or $30 a haircut. Children's haircuts, $10 on Wednesday afternoons only, whatever it may be. If it's in building, latest trends in building, a client success story, tell a story, do a diagram of a house plan, do quizzes, highlight success stories on the job. You know, it might even be you taking your dog to work for the day, hiring announcements, a clean joke, a throwaway, a poll. Provide a tip that will help them, give something for free. Always add humour. Do a throwback Thursday, share a blast from the past, or a video. There are so many things that you can do, and you can also Google things that you can post. All right. Make the most of the internet. Everything on social media is about the user experience. So keep in mind that we look at all your social media channels, blog directly to traffic to your website, use keywords, use the analytical tools that you have on offer. If you're using Facebook, it will be Insights. It's also called Insights in LinkedIn. Use the analytical tools if you have a website, and use scheduling applications. There are many, many that are free. And remember this, the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing, it tells a story. All right, so what we're now going to do, we're going to do a recap. I may have gone a little bit fast, but I'll be able to do this with you and actually have some discussion. So we looked at online communication, like, share, and comment. Now, predominantly now, for example, in Facebook, if you want to tag anybody, use the @ sign rather than a hashtag. It gets it delivered in a different way. All right, build brand awareness, manage your reputation, drive your web traffic, and you be on social media so you can get found. When we look at blogging, we look at how it relates to a Google search to get found. We look at keywords, which includes blogging, Google, Google My Business, and SEO. Again, it's always that if you do Google My Business, you're going to be found on Google Maps. Look at your branding, make sure it's on trend, make it true to you who you are, and keep in mind that continue to be true to your brand on screen and off screen. Don't fake it. People can see when you're faking it. Think about your buyer persona. Okay, who are they? You need to connect with the right buyer. Talk their language. Show their pain points and how you can be the solution provider for it. Remember, strangers become fans, who become customers, who become advocates. It is called a customer map or customer journey map. All right, and remember this. If you only have time to be on one platform, then post on that platform well and be consistent. All right, I'm going to actually stop sharing now so that we can answer some questions. Bear with me 1 minute while I take the sharing off. And I do see that we have questions, so bear with me 1 minute and I can answer them for you. Okay, let's go and have a chat. All right, so I have somebody here. What if I'm a two-sided market? Who should I focus more on in regards to my posts? Who is it? This is, I presume it's Cherry. Cherry, can you go and come off mute and give me more of a, tell me a little bit more? I'm unsure what two-sided market, what you mean. If you're meaning that you sell two different products, that's okay. That's not a problem. Again, it depends what platform you're on. If you're on LinkedIn, for example, you can have a company page and off that have up to 12 showcase pages. So therefore, you would actually promote your two different products on different pages. If it's on Facebook, for example, Facebook, it would all be about, because they don't come in side by side, you're fine about talking about two different things. You're talking about two different markets. All right. If it's Instagram, it's that's all right. Hopefully I'm answering your question. C has just said, so I'm not so sure how to unmute on my phone. That's okay. I'll just keep talking and hopefully I've hit it. If I haven't, you can send me a message. On Instagram, it's more about branding. It's about your message through a brand. So give different messages, but keep it in the same branding. All right. I hope that answered your question. Did it answer your question? Customers, businesses, app users, the common people on the street. Right, so Facebook, you can talk about both, just not on the same post. Instagram, ensure that your branding is correct, and you should have no problems on that. On LinkedIn, LinkedIn pivots off you, then from you it goes into a organisation page, and from an organisation page you can have up to 12 showcase pages. So you would attract different people in LinkedIn than you would on the other platforms. Hi Priscilla, you mentioned X sign instead of, I think you meant the @ sign. So it might be my accent. The @ sign, which is above on a keyboard, the number 2. All right, the reason for that is it actually tags them differently and they can share it. When you do a hashtag on Facebook, it's more used for searching. And it doesn't actually tell them that somebody's mentioned them, whereas the @ sign says that you've been mentioned. You're most welcome, Priscilla. Any other questions? It's a bit fast on my presentation, I'm sorry. I've still got some time, so let's chat about whatever you'd like about social media and I can answer it for you. Tell me more about GMB. Google My Business, I gather, is what you're saying there. Okay, so that is how Google ranks you. So if you type into Google My Business, it will come up and you need to register. Now, what happens when you register is Google will say, thank you for registering. We're going to send you a postcard that's going to have a code in it. So you have to wait to get that postcard, which verifies you are who you are. And what that allows Google to do is match your address. So when somebody's searching, say with me, and you don't have to advertise your address on Google, but Google needs to know your address. So if somebody, for example, I live in a place called Mullaney. Or Sunshine Coast, if somebody's looking for a social media person in Sunshine Coast and they Google it, I will come up through the maps. All right. Or if somebody's Googling and going cafe near me and I'm on Google My Business, that cafe will come up. All right. It also helps your ranking. So if you can put a website in it, then it all fits in together like a jigsaw. The more pieces that you have within that jigsaw, the higher up the ranking you may become. So what is the best platform to blog on? Marilena, do you have a website? If you have a website, it's most definitely best to blog on your own website because it's bringing people back to your website and your keywords. If you don't have one, then you can use Medium. But I would, unless you're going to be a freelance blogger and you can afford to get a website, and they're getting cheaper and cheaper, and you can actually do your own. Takes a little bit of patience, but you can do your own. Okay, I love these questions, guys. Thank you. Is GMG the list of business that come on a Google search page? Do I have to pay to get on top of that list, or is it SEO? You can't pay to get on top of the list. And yes, it all adds up. So Google My Business will put you on the maps. All right. It helps with the Google search, but there's a lot of things that help with the Google search. But Google looks after Google first, obviously. All right. So it all comes into your search engine optimization. So when they use their algorithm robot, they go through and see, firstly, if you have a website and you're doing blogs, then it's an active website. So you're going to come ahead of other people that don't have a website or a website that they never use. Do I have to register or apply with Google to get onto GMB? Yes, if you actually in the search bar for Google type in Google My Business, it will come up. You can also, then people can put reviews in there. Now, reviews will also help your SEO. So yes, you have to register so that Google knows that you're there. Any more questions? I would love to talk. I've just been asked, could you please talk a little bit about the 10 showcase business pages on a single LinkedIn business page? Absolutely. Guys, if you have the opportunity, this week I also am doing a LinkedIn. So I'm just going to, bear with me 1 minute. I just want to bring up my LinkedIn profile and then you can see. And I will share it with you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen? Oh, I've lost your chats now. Hang on. All right, here we go. Great, you can see my screen. Okay, so this is my profile. All right, so in here, this is all about me. So everything that you have to begin with LinkedIn starts off with you. Then what you can do is that you can create a profile. So if I go me, my company is Dash Social. Here's my company profile. Now, people can like or follow your company profile and not connect with you. So then from here, I go, okay, this is Dash Social. Again, if you looked at my website, I'm true on brand. Now what I want to do is that I want to look at my showcase pages. And so I actually have some showcase pages here. So obviously, because I'm in social media, my products are the social media platforms. So I've got them down here. So what I'll do is I will look in LinkedIn for your business. And here I have a showcase page. Now you can cancel these, you can deactivate them, and you can have up to 12 of them. So here I'm talking about predominantly all about LinkedIn. All right, I can have activity in here. It doesn't show that I've done anything. Bad, okay. I have done something in there. All right, it will help me in regards to different things that I've posted on. And it sits there. So I can change this at any time that I wish. You can invite connections to follow. And there's all some of the detail that I've been talking about. Does that help? What else would you like to know? Is there anything else that you'd like to know about LinkedIn before I unshare? Okay, Priscilla has asked, do you post the same content from your business page as your personal page? I presume you mean on LinkedIn, or do you mean on Facebook? What? LinkedIn. You can. The whole great thing about LinkedIn is that when we go back, let me just go back. So see all these people here that I've followed that have all post. It means that I don't continually need to repost. I can share their work. And I can share it. Sometimes I'll share it to my organization. Sometimes I'll share it just with LinkedIn. And the reason for that is, what is the purpose of me doing it? If I want more connections, then I'm going to do it just off my name, simply being because the people that connect with me, as soon as they share it, will see that it was mine. If I want it for brand awareness, then I will do it off the showcase pages. Well, how much do small businesses spend on socials for paid advertising each month? About $7,500. I'll be honest with you, I'm a small business. I don't spend that money, but then I spend a lot of time in social media growing it organically. All right, and again, that comes down to how many connections you have, whether that's connections on LinkedIn, whether that's followers on Instagram, or profiles on Facebook. If you have very few, it's not going to go far. Now, keep in mind that if we look at Facebook and we look at Facebook advertising, Boost is very local. All right, so if you're wanting to grow your audience just in your area, Boost is great, but it doesn't have a very high reach. All right, so my suggestion would be paid advertising on Facebook, and you can monitor it and you can give it a go, but it takes some work to do. It's not simple. All right, and the reason I say that is that when you do Facebook and you do Facebook advertising, you do what we call an A/B test. So you run 2 different ads. Now, one of the things on Facebook is that they don't like it to be too wordy. So very little text on what you're doing. It's more about image-based. And so you'll do one, perhaps you'll do 2 different images and see which one gets the best reaction. Or then you'll say, okay, you'll stop that and you'll go, all right, this got best image got the best reaction. Now I'll do this one how it is, but I'll do the same image, but I'll change the wording for the next one. So it takes about 2 weeks to test it, which costs you money, until you're ready to go with the best one. If you think doing a Facebook advertising and just doing one ad and you think it's going to work, I can tell you now you'll be wasting your money. Okay, yes, it is a lot of money. That's why we tend to try and do organic posting. It takes longer, but you actually have a more solid posting. All right, get your colleagues to help you. Okay, so what do we have next? Do you do any of the events on Facebook ads, or how to create a gate ad banner? No, I don't. I chose with social media that I prefer to do blog. I write blogs and content. However, Dante St. James, who is also ASBAS advisor, he does ads, and you'll find that there's a couple of others that also will do the Facebook ads that you're so much better to go with than me. If you want to know how to write, yeah, Dante, cool, thanks. If you're looking at anything to do with the actual social media posting, what to say, what keywords, all that type of thing, or anything how you set up LinkedIn and how you make connections on LinkedIn, then that's my specialty. And as I said, I think I've got another one this week to go through if you'd like to join. Priscilla says, I love these questions, guys, thanks. Is LinkedIn advertising better return on investment than Facebook? Oh, God. This is my personal opinion because I spend my time in LinkedIn. I would say yes, however, it's more expensive. But your return on investment is higher because it's more focused and aimed at who you need. But there's a lot easier way than doing your advertising, guys. And I'll let you into a secret because we're early and I'll show you how. So here we've got, if I go into search on LinkedIn, let's say I want to look at what job? Let's say, for example, I want to look at lawyer, Brisbane, Australia. I've decided, because I've picked them because they're always terrible at LinkedIn. They never manage to get their LinkedIn too well. So I've just put in here very badly with no spaces. All right, so I've just put lawyer, Brisbane, Australia. Now see at the top, it's got people, jobs, post groups, companies. If I go to companies, even though I've put up Brisbane, but let's say I have a look at this one, Brisbane family lawyer. Let's look at this. No, that's Sydney. I don't want Sydney. Let's look at Cook Legal. Now I've gone into Cook Legal. What I'm wanting to do, and I've gone into the wrong place. Let's go back into people. Now, all of these people, what I'm looking for is a connection. So I have over 500 connections. So what I'm looking for is somebody that we have a shared connection. So for example, let's say I want to get in touch with this Sarah Galvin. Well, I know that Ron Gray and Tony and Sharon Chard are shared connections. So what I would do is I would probably contact Tony, no, let's say Ron Gray, and say, hey Ron, excuse me, I'm very interested in getting in touch with Sarah. I believe that I have something that would be very important for her to hear. Are you okay if I use your name? They're going to come in and go, yeah, thanks for asking, no problems at all. So then I'm going to contact Sarah and say, hi Sarah, Ron suggested that I give you a call. I'm a social media consultant. I offer a free service where I can give an audit of your LinkedIn profile. I noticed that you're missing this. Can I suggest that you put this on? And I'd love to have a chat with you. What are you doing next week? Sarah comes back, says, yep, that sounds like a great idea. I'll see you next Friday. I then contact Ron back through messages and say, thanks, Ron, I'm actually catching up with Sarah next week. That's how you do it organically. And that doesn't cost you anything other than time. Always write a personal message on LinkedIn. One of my pet hates is to connect with somebody new, and please all connect with me. Just explain that you've actually been to one of my ASBAS programs. I hate connecting with somebody and then they're trying to sell me something. Be true. All right, because what will happen is if you try to sell me something straight off, I'll just disconnect from you. All righty. Now, what do we say? How does LinkedIn charge me? Okay, so that's going to take a lot more time, and that's really delving into LinkedIn advertising. But LinkedIn does charge you through clicks, but it's a little bit different. You can actually go and I think I have, if I go on to me, let me just go on to my profile here. Let me go down to my activity. We have a look in documents. I think I've got one in here on advertising, just double check. Yep, campaign checklist, getting the most out of your campaigns. Campaign optimization guide. So you should find something in there that will help you. Other than that, once you've gone through your campaign setup and your audience and all that type of thing, just go in and head through LinkedIn to find it. All right, but that would be the best way. LinkedIn, yes, is much better, but have a really good think about how you want to contact them. You know, it might be cheaper just to spend some time and just contact them more personally. LinkedIn is very personal, and I would suggest that you're probably going to be more successful contacting a person direct. All right, again, it's best to be on premium. Premium costs you about $60 a month. But well worth it. And the way that you'll know if somebody's on premium, actually I'll have to bring up somebody that I think is on premium. Jenna's. See this gold here? That means premium. If it's got a blue background, it means that they're not premium. All right. Okay, come on, people. We've got another 15 minutes. Do you want me to go back through what I've already been through again? Okay, I'll go back through. I'm sorry I rushed it. When I timed it, it was fine, but let's go through it again. All right. So I'm just going to bring it up on Canva. And what I can do this time is I actually can see your messages, so we can go through it all together. Okay. So we've already acknowledged we know about me, we don't need to know about that. We'll go through each one bit by bit. So are you all happy about the different platforms and what they do? Can I have a yes or no from all of you, please? Priscilla says yes. Shuri says yes. Hear more about Pinterest, Louise? Okay, we can do that next. We'll do that while we're on our way. Marlena says yes. Okay, lovely. All right, so we'll skip through till we get to Pinterest. So Pinterest, it's a lot harder to use Pinterest simply because you can't use a scheduling post, all right? And how Pinterest works, you work off pins. So what you want to do is for your customers to be interested in what you offer. So let's say you're a cabinet maker, then obviously you're going to post a lot about cabinetry and talk about the cabinetry and how you can take this room to this room and things like that, because what you want is somebody to like a post that you've pinned up and then delve into your post and then delve into your website. All right. It's a really good platform, in fact, that not a lot of people are on it. And predominantly it's women. Men are catching up, but predominantly it's women, high income, that look at it. All right, and it's an ideas platform. It's where you go to find ideas on how to do things. Does that answer your question, Louise? Do you want to know anything else before I go on? You're most welcome. All right, we've gone through LinkedIn a little bit. There's YouTube, TikTok. Do any of you use TikTok? Oh, okay. So Corey wants me to go over Facebook and Instagram. Well, they're owned by the same people. And the way that I describe this to you is this. Instagram is a picture book. Tells a story through the images that you post. It's about a story. So it's about those images and drawing people in to want to know more and gain more information. Facebook is social. It's talking about what's happening in your life today. And then you've got LinkedIn, which is more predominantly business. TikTok is coming up. They have some fabulous stuff on TikTok. Okay, so we have Marilena. I have an interior design business. Can you give us any tips for video content? Video is king. All right, so what I would suggest you do is actually Google on Facebook how long your videos need to be. I did have it on here. I wonder if I can, if it will allow me to do my notes as I go. Stop, just bear with me. I'm just going to try and stop this and go from the front because I did have my notes in here. Yeah, it's not going to let me by the look of it do it. Yes, we will. Generally speaking, if you can do three minute, they must be MP4 videos to do, but you've got the perfect opportunity to be on, Marilena, to be on Pinterest, to be on Instagram and Facebook. All right. Okay. It's not going to give me my notes. It's decided to back out. That's all right. All right, let's go back to present, I think. All right, do you know all of what these are? What if you're camera shy? But it's about your product that I want you to show. You can talk and show this is what this house looked like, this is what it's going to look like. A good example of that is go and have a look at a business called Veranda House. It's one of them that have done very, very well. They actually offer interior design now because they did very well at telling their story. Look at their earlier stuff. And that might give you some sort of idea. You don't have to be in front of the camera. You can talk behind it and go, this is what we have here. The first things that we look at as an interior designer is what pieces go well with others. When we're styling a bookshelf, this is what we need to do. More is less, etc., etc. So talk about what you know. All right, again, we want to, you're the eyes behind the camera and we're standing behind you looking at what you do. And that's the way that you tell it. That's your point of difference, you know, and even talk about things like, It's not all about money. There is so much in this room that we can already do, that we can already style. What we need to do is make sure that we have what colours go with what, and what style are we trying to achieve. Is it a country style? Is it a bohemian style? Is it Safari style? Old English? Whatever the style may be, and talk about it and explain what type of styles they are. You can even do it in regards to from books, just as long as if you're doing it from a book that you accredit the person that wrote the book. All right, but keep in mind that if you're borrowing anybody else's, acknowledge that it's their work, not yours. Otherwise, it's copyright. Okay, Snapchat really is for the younger. A lot of the time, so is TikTok, although adults are tending to get more into it. Have a look at Medium. Medium's okay. I still think writing a blog is much better coming off your own website. So when we look at a blog, we want to look at keywords. We want to look at the title. So when you search something, if you can, my suggestion if you're going to write a blog, and again, Marilena, write a blog would be perfect for you. Get keywords everywhere. And when you type in something, I'll show you at the end of this, it will come and tell you the CPC, which is cost per click. Now, we don't want the most popular because your blog's going to get lost. It won't get seen. So you look at something that's cost per click is fairly high, but their audience isn't so high. And I'll show you this at the end. So your blog allows you to keep your content on your website fresh. They're written for, obviously, for Google search and also the reader, but the keywords within it are for Google. And you can use Answer the Public, SEMrush, which is another one, and keywords everywhere. This is the part that we spoke about, which was Google My Business. Again, just search Google My Business and it will come up. Register. Every one of you should be on this if you want to be seen. All right, list your business. New searches are geographically specific. So if I'm in Perth, for example, let's say I'm in Fremantle, it's going to bring up searches that are closest in Fremantle where I am, if I'm in Fremantle. And that's also where you put your Google reviews, which also identifies your ranking. Search engine optimization, which we've already talked about, which relates to your landing pages, your index or keywords, the traffic, the web traffic, your content, and backlinks. Backlinks are really important. Now, what a backlink is say you've used somebody as a reference, you would actually backlink to their website. All right, that's what a backlink is. And the best backlinks are the government ones. So if you're talking about something, say, from a government website, backlink to the government, because Google looks at that and says, oh, this is an authority, this is okay, and this is a good backlink. All right, you should be on social media because it delivers better customer service, it drives your brand awareness, you manages your reputation. Again, we're wanting to build trust. That's why you do social media. Get your message in front of the right customer. Again, we want to get that customer into somebody that's through their buying journey that wants to know more and heads to your website or heads to your Facebook page or your Instagram page to purchase. Increase trust in your brand and drives the web traffic. So again, we looked at why you need to build a brand, because it's about being true to you. It's creating something. It's creating a legacy. You'll notice if you go and have a look at my website, my colors are white, gold, sort of like a tan, and this blue that you can see here. This is my branding. That font is my branding. All right, it's about the imagery you use. It's about your color palette. Your logo is a part of your branding, as we saw with McDonald's here. Again, update it, be on trend. Don't make it look old. Coca-Cola has been another one that's become on trend. Then we went through and we spoke about the different statistics, which we all know, we've all been through. Think of what platforms your social media that your clients are on. That's where you should be. but you're not a social media consultant. You don't do it for a living. And I don't expect you to be able to write on every single post. So play smart. If you can use a content scheduler, now that could be, oh gosh, there's so many. There's Buffer, Hootsuite, Publer, which is what I use. And if you want to know more about Publer, please let me know. There's Later for Instagram. I'm trying to think. There's a few that you can use. You need to look at them and see which one best suits you. Think about your customer and where they are. What do they have the time to spend on? And that's hence why we post before 9 in the morning and after 6 at night, because that's generally when they can post. Or if you have a product that's for young mothers with primary student children or primary children, post at 2:30, because they're sitting in the car park waiting to pick up their children. And that's when they'll look at Facebook. Also have a look at your Facebook insights. So look at when posts are being opened. What was the most popular post that was opened? And from that, work out, if you have a post in particular that was shared or opened more, then start writing like that more often, because they're the posts that are being picked up that people are wanting at this time. Okay, as I mentioned, videos are the most popular, they're the most popular in ranking. Facebook doesn't like a lot of text, so don't put a lot of text on your post. Use Canva. Canva is fantastic. They have a free version as well as a paid one. Use whatever you can that's at your fingertips. All right, think about the content to post. It needs to be engaging. You need to draw somebody in. You've got 7 seconds to grab their attention before they move on. All right, remember the 30, 30, 30, 10? 30% is about your business. 30% is about your staff, your suppliers. You know, it might be Saturday staff member. You know, tell the story of your staff member. What do they do? You know, there's Roy in accounts, Gus who sits on the bus, you know, that old song, hit the road, Stan's your man, whatever it may be, but have humor in it. Make it like so that somebody wants to read it. All right. 30% is about you. It's personal. Talk about how you can solve your customer problems. Again, we did a story about what you can look at. You know, for you, for example, Marilena, a house plan. Which way should you position furniture in a room? Is feng shui something that we should be looking at? Is it really something that we should be looking at? Is that something that you believe in? What would you suggest? How do you approach a client? What do you need from a client? And for all of you, for a client to engage with you, what do they need to bring to the table? All of this are posts that you can talk about. If you do a blog, put a section of your blog into the post and head them to your website. There we go with the web traffic. All right, and remember, the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing, it tells the story. All right, so that pretty much covers it. Do we have any more questions? I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. We've got 4 minutes left. Give it your best shot. Susan, I haven't heard from you. Do you have any questions? Oh, Susan, I'm so sorry to hear that. Susan's got a sick child with her. Okay, can you type anything to me? Is there anything I can help you with as well? Are businesses like restaurants on LinkedIn? You can be, but I would approach it a different way. Your social media strategy will be quite different. I would be talking about corporate. And so I would be talking about a corporate lunch that you may be able to provide for a client or something like that. So you would be looking at it more for when you're looking at special occasions, and not necessarily Christmas, because it's very noisy, but perhaps end of financial year. It was Cree that said our business is like restaurants on LinkedIn face-to-face, perhaps. I would again make it more personal. Are you aware, such and such company managing director, that we are situated in your neighbourhood? Are you aware that we offer a special corporate rate for lunches? Come and have your business meeting here. Things like that. So it's a more personal to person. I would like to give you a special invite to my restaurant, you know, and you may offer them something for free. Susan, I'm mostly interested in how people can use social media to release content at future times, but I think you mentioned Hootsuite, Buffer. Look at Publer is another one. A lot of them offer you a free trial as well. All right, be very careful with some of them, however. Some of them don't post on Instagram too well. I would just be watching those sorts of things. But, you know, your big boys are going to be Hootsuite and Buffer. Publer is a new one that's come in that I found that's very good, but there's lots of them. Just have a look. You know, you can actually send me a message anytime. All right, best of luck with it all. Last question. No, we're all good by the look of it. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I mentioned, have a look at the ASBAS program. There is a webinar that I'm doing on LinkedIn that I think you will find very, very beneficial. Until then, thanks for seeing me. I'm Kay Ridge from Dash Social. Bye-bye. Oh, please leave me a message if you can, and good luck with the little child that's sick. It's nothing worse. Bye, everybody.